He had given his life to the service of millions, but in his final hours, only one loyal soul refused to leave his side, a humble dog named Lupo, whose soft whimpers echoed louder than the grand bells of St. Peter's Basilica that night. Pope Francis had always believed in the simple, unbreakable bond between creatures of God. It was during one cold winter afternoon, years before the world would witness their final moment, that Francis first met Lupo. The Pope was taking one of his rare solitary walks in the Vatican gardens when he spotted a frail, matted dog trembling by a fountain. No guards, no aides, just an old man in white and a scared stray with eyes that spoke of countless nights alone. Without hesitation, Francis knelt on the frosty stone and extended his hand. The dog flinched but did not flee. "You have no name, no title," Francis whispered, his breath visible in the winter air. "So, you shall be Lupo, my wolf, but gentle." From that day, Lupo became more than a pet. He was Francis's silent confidant, his shadow through the marble halls and hidden gardens. While the world saw a powerful pope, Lupo knew the man who woke at dawn to feed him scraps, who whispered prayers into his fur when the weight of humanity's suffering was too heavy to bear alone. Years passed. Lupo grew from a ragged stray to a beloved companion known only to the few who saw the private side of the Pope. Yet, their bond did not escape the watchful eyes of those who envied the Pope's simplicity. Some within the Vatican hierarchy found Lupo's presence undignified. "A dog does not belong in sacred halls," one cardinal had argued sternly during a closed-door meeting. Francis, tired but unwavering, replied with a warm smile, "If a dog cannot find sanctuary here, then where?" Through scandals, betrayals, and the unending scrutiny of billions, Lupo remained the one constant. He was there when Francis read countless letters begging for prayers he could not always answer. He was there when the Pope's knees grew weaker and his steps slower, his aging hands resting on Lupo's back for balance as they strolled the Vatican gardens one final time. As the years took their toll, Francis's frailty could no longer be hidden behind robes and public blessings. Doctors came and went. Advisors urged him to rest, to delegate, to retreat, but Francis refused to abandon his flock. Even when the pain in his chest worsened, he pushed through crowds in St. Peter's Square, his trembling hand reaching for the faithful. And always, when the curtains closed and the cameras turned away, Lupo was there, curling against his feet, guarding his dreams. When the final illness came, it was not sudden but relentless. Word spread quietly among the clergy, the Pope was dying. The Basilica, normally alive with the murmur of pilgrims, fell into a reverent hush. Cardinals and bishops gathered, whispering prayers and final words of gratitude. But Lupo did not care for titles or sacraments, he only knew that his master, his friend, was slipping away. On that final night, Pope Francis lay in a modest room behind the grand walls of the Vatican. The golden crucifix above his bed glowed dimly in the candlelight. His breathing was shallow, every exhale a struggle against time. Lupo rested his graying muzzle on the Pope's frail hand, eyes glistening, a soft whine rising from his throat when the Pope's fingers twitched weakly. A young nun, Sister Amelia, who had often snuck Lupo treats, sat by the door with tears she dared not wipe. She had watched the Pope kiss countless foreheads, bless countless sinners, and forgive countless wrongs. But now, she witnessed something that no crowd could ever see, the quiet, holy friendship between man and beast in life's final hour. "Stay," Francis whispered, his voice barely audible, yet clear enough for Lupo to lift his head. For a moment, it seemed that the Pope's eyes glowed with the same warmth they had when he found a trembling stray by the fountain. "Good boy, my good boy." The final bell of midnight tolled through the Basilica as Francis drew his last breath, his hand still resting on Lupo's head. A silence fell so heavy it wrapped itself around every soul in the room. But then, something remarkable happened. Lupo let out a single, mournful howl that rose through the vaulted ceilings and out into the moonlit courtyard. It was not the cry of an animal but a lament for a shepherd who had tended more than just human souls. Word spread quickly. Cardinals, priests, and pilgrims who had gathered in the square dropped to their knees, some clutching rosaries, others simply weeping as the dog's lonely howl echoed through the basilica's ancient stones. They had come to mourn a pope but found themselves grieving alongside a creature whose grief was pure, unguarded, the very essence of unconditional love. In the days that followed, Lupo refused to leave Francis's side. When the coffin was placed beneath the grand dome, draped in white and gold, Lupo laid himself beside it, unmoving, eyes closed, as if standing guard one last time. Attempts to coax him away failed. He ate only when Sister Amelia brought him broth, whispering prayers into his fur as Francis once had. Some questioned what would become of Lupo. Offers came from dignitaries and wealthy patrons to adopt him, all politely refused. In the end, it was decided that Lupo would remain in the Vatican gardens, where he and Francis had walked countless times. A small plaque was placed by the old fountain where they first met. Here began the friendship of a pope and his faithful friend, Lupo. To this day, visitors sometimes glimpse a lone dog resting by the fountain or wandering the marble paths at dawn, as if searching for the man who whispered prayers into his fur. Many say that in Lupo's loyalty, they see the living spirit of Francis, a reminder that true compassion knows no bounds, no titles, no barriers between man and creature. Their story, whispered through their basilica's ancient walls, leaves behind a lesson far more profound than any sermon, that in a world of power and pomp, it is often the smallest acts of love and loyalty that reveal the purest face of faith. If this story moved you, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. What does Lupo's devotion mean to you? Have you ever known the comfort of an animal's unconditional love? I'd love to hear your stories. And if you believe in the power of compassion, for people and animals alike, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and join our growing family here on Justice on Paws. Together, let's keep these stories alive, one paw print at a time.